everyone for staying with us. Our attention now shifts to the Port Harcourt Refinery. And a refinery, about 2 years ago or so, the federal government, through the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, said that it will fix the Port Harcourt Refinery as one of the first leg in rehabilitating Nigeria's 4 moribund refineries, which stopped working about 4 or 5 years ago, was shut down because of capacity to be able to refine. We have enormous resources underground, but unable to refine them. We have to take those crude outside of the country, transport the refined products so that our people can use them, either AGO or aviation fuel or petrol, which is one of the most popular, or gas or any other or the derivatives of the crude that we have underground. But today, our colleague, Olu Phillips, who is our energy correspondent, was on the refinery. Don't forget, there are 2 layers or 2 of the refineries. One is younger than the other, that has a larger capacity. The 2 refineries in Port Harcourt has a combined capacity of about 210 in terms of its production. But of course, the first one, which was the old one, is one that has been fixed, and the NNPC says 70% of it has been fixed. Well, I mean, on the day that the announcement came out, I said on this program that there are words from insiders that the refinery isn't having the capacity to fully refine, had to have some mixtures to be able to distill and refine the product out of it. But our colleague Olu Phillips is on the ground to report to us what exactly he saw and I found out about a week or so after the announcement by the NPCL.
To have settled following the observation that was carried out here by some officials and journalists and concerned citizens, community members, workers, labor members, sometime last week on the Port Harcourt Refinery resurgence and rehabilitation. Whether it was working or is working was the big controversy out there. And Charles TV is privileged to return to this plant as it has done in several years past. And today we can authentically tell you that behind me is the blur coming out from the processing that is ongoing here at the Port Harcourt Area 5 Refinery, which here houses the whole 60,000 barrels processed per day refinery, one out of 2 refineries situated on this ground. That is the flashback, which is indicative of processing of refining of crude ongoing here at the Port Harcourt Refinery. To my left here is this big towering column, which is the furnace that produces the steam that allows the processing plant to get heated and process, or what you can call distill the crude. That's ongoing here. Workers are still here. The prepared rehabilitation team from Technimop that has been doing this job in the past 2 to 3 years are still here, and this is the situation. We'll be bringing you more stories from the restarted Port Harcourt Refinery here in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, element.
All right, there is the facility where Olu Phillips is standing is as old as 1965 or so. The new one was commissioned in 1989. The first one has a capacity of about 60,000 barrels per day in production, while the new one, which was commissioned around 1989, has about 150,000 barrels per day capacity, which there are a lot of people will say in full capacity, the 60,000 barrel per day capacity of refinery can do us about 1 million liters. The new one, which has a larger capacity, could be able to do 10 million. But what's coming out from the refinery, which was not revealed by the NNPC at first, was the fact that the NNPC or the refinery was bringing crack C5 from Indorama and blend it with naphtha to get the PMS that is being sold. Later on, we got to know that, okay, that is perhaps because of the ability to fully have the refinery function optimally. Let me bring someone who has worked within the NNPC, who understand the value chain and perhaps what is going on. Engineer Eng.Sani is a national chairman of the ADC. He's here live with me. He's an experienced engineer. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. We are wearing two hats tonight, yes. A politician and an engineer. Yes. Give us an understanding. The NNPC that you know today, you saw my colleague there right on the ground in Eleme at the old refinery. I'm very sure that you've been on that grounds before, yeah. And a lot of dancing and singing should have returned, because you know in any refinery environment or community there will be a lot of commerce and trade that will be woken up because of the activity, yeah, that comes up on the refinery. But give me an understanding. The NNPC that you know, on the value chain, that sector that you know, is there anything amiss from what you see and hear?
Well, so I think you see, you gave the history of the beginning of the refinery itself. That is the old Port Harcourt refinery, which was built in 1937. Actually, at that time the capacity was about something less than 40,000 barrels per day. Then it was in 1972 that the CDU, was added, and it became 60,000 barrels per day, which is what we have today. So it's like we are trying to go back to what we did in 1972. How we got to where we are today, really, it's not so surprising at all. Okay. Because the history of refining in this country, we never had anything above 30% of the capacity. Even when we had Kaduna, we had Warri, we had Port Harcourt, totaling 445,000 barrels per day. We never had more than 30%. So which means almost 70% of the product that we're consuming in this country were imported. So we got used to that lavish, that luxury.
So explain to us the C4, the crack C4, and the naphtha that is being mixed. Part of it gotten from Indorama. That should give us the refined petrol that can service our fuel, the PMS which can service our fuel. But give us an understanding of how that blending happens. What is missing within the refinery chain? And I'm not sure that is what is going on in Dangote. I think Dangote has a full full system that will be able to give us the final product.
Exactly. Apart from the technical aspect, which I'll also talk about, is the issue of accountability, transparency. NNPC, from the time immemorial, has been run as a company that really has no honor. Everybody does whatever he likes and he got away.
Opaque.
Largely
non-transparent.
Non-transparent. And it has not changed, because I remember
now, even under Mele Kyari.
It hasn't changed, because I remember that I did carry out a study on behalf of 90, and when I visited those refineries, I discovered that there were no meters. The trucks you see loading, they were hand-dipped, There's no meter from the refinery feeding the loading bay that you can now say, end of the day, you now do accounting of how much have we pumped out of the refinery. There were no meters from the crude oil coming into the refineries. So it was just, a situation where anything goes. Yeah, so then you can see now that the rescue, that even the lie that they're telling Nigerians about the 60 that old refinery working, the rescue came from Indorama, isn't it? Which is a private entity. And we can see the efficiency that's coming from Dangote. What does that tell us? Is that government should hand over, this business. Government has no business in doing business. So at the bottom of everything you are talking about, believe you me, it's not the issue, it's not the technical competence that we don't have.
$1.5 billion US.
Dollars was
gone.
Exactly.
Let me shock you just for a moment. And let me tell all Nigerians. Let me tell, this is shocking actually. And I've had the knowledge of this, and I think the Nigerian government and those who are part of that meeting should come clean and tell Nigerians the very real fact. There was a meeting which I'm privy for those who attended that meeting. It was a National Executive Council and Economic Council meeting, which is usually chaired by the Vice President. There was a committee set up and led by one of the governors.
Yes.
That committee is supposed to probe what was going on within the Nigerian oil and gas value chain.
Yes.
And they made far-reaching discovery. In that discovery, they were supposed to make the presentation to NEC.
Yes.
And those presentations were made to NEC, and was this part of what you said was that there were no metering system.
Exactly.
To be able to determine what goes in and out of the refineries or out of Nigeria, the crude and all what have you. Guess what, Engineer Eng.Sani? The sad news is that that report that has been produced has been shut down. It has not been made public. I have a leaked version of that report. Maybe I will be able to put it out to the public in Nigeria for Nigerians to know the rot that is going on in the petroleum sector. Nigeria is bleeding. It is sad what is happening in this country, in the oil and gas sector. And that report reveals, and it is led by a governor in Nigeria, and I have a leaked version. And when that happens, we'll be able to put it to Nigerian people. How bad is the petroleum sector being run in Nigeria? Yes,
it's as bad as it can be, because the report you're talking about reported that in 6 months we lost $1.5 billion. You know, that is a conservative figure that Obaseki committee set up by the NEC, which you talk about, you know, came up with. So you can imagine, and Haiti has been year in, year out telling us that you are losing nothing less than $4 billion. Maybe they now get to reduce it to some 2 point something billion. But it's more than that, because the issue is that if you can't measure, if you can't meter, you cannot monitor or control. And that has been the situation in this country. So my regret is that I don't know how they got Mr. President, you know, to become, I don't know what to say, the shield of the NNPC rot. Because as the minister of that entity, you know, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't. Mr. President is not looking. We don't have good.
There's no substantive minister of petroleum in Nigeria. We only have a minister of state. That is an empty portfolio.
Exactly.
No occupier of that office.
Why hasn't, like we are hearing from CBN recently? I don't know whether it's true that 753 duplexes, whatever, you know, MFLA or something behind that. So, do you know what will happen if you probe NNPC? This is a joke. What you believe me, to look at the child play, what you are getting from CBN. CBN is just a banker. Where this money is coming from is NNPC. What has stopped Nigeria from probing NNPC? The NNPC got us into all these problems we're talking about.
I thought that
the two subsidies you are talking about, subsidy on petroleum products, is squarely NNPC. Subsidy on Naira. If you can't fund your foreign reserve, how do you get Naira to be strong? That also relies on NNPC. Because of the level of stealing that you are talking about, theft that you are talking about, it's not being checked. You know, so somebody should please tell Mr. President that it's a high time we build the searchlight on NNPC. We can't be taken for a ride for so long, and nobody is doing anything. Somebody is sitting cool in their offices, laughing at us. Because they are laughing at us because every month you tell us that this refinery will work, it will never work. Look at the shame. Look at the drama that is happening. That is because the CDU is not working. That we shut down for a while so that we can maintain. Shut down for a while. Why can't you come out clean and tell Nigerians what is truly happening? This is public money, for God's sake. It's not your money. Tell us where we are with $1.5 billion.
There are a lot of suspicions a lot of people have, and I don't like suspicions. I don't like conjectures. I like facts. I like when the matter is being laid bare. One of the suspicions is that NNPCL came and said, they have trucks waiting to load. And imagine that how quickly those trucks got into the yard and to the loading bay for them to be able to load onto the trucks. And on the day that you said you are now ready to load on, and you have so much of them, and few days later you said there are issues and all whatnot. I think there's so much explanation to be made, but the big question here is that the president has ordered, yes, good news, and to the ears of anyone, I was so excited. I said, well, this is a big break. Under the Tinubu government, yes, the president had praised the Buhari government because it was under the Buhari government that the bill was signed. It's under the Tinubu government that is now happening and coming to fruition. But the question now is that we will all be happy if Warri Refinery works, Kaduna Refinery works, the PH1, PH2 refineries are working. But in the manner in which things are going, where do you think we are headed?
It's a roller coaster where we learn anyone's guess as far as the oil sector is concerned. It will look as if, for some reasons, government is protecting that sector. I don't know for what reasons, because there's nothing that can equate to somebody's legacy as a president or as a government.
Do you think that under this Mele Kyari regime as the head of the NNPC, there are still things that are missed? We thought that NNPC will be more transparent under him.
How can it be transparent when you cannot tell me how much we are producing, how much we are exporting? When you cannot check ordinarily, you know, the metering system. When you do not have a way of linking your field equipment to the financial institutions that are supposed to monitor this. You always come to their FAC or whatever meeting with papers. Can you imagine? You know, the Accountant General Federation has no system of directly knowing what is happening, how much money has accrued to the country. They don't have that system. But the IOCs, they have a system. A drop of crude oil, as it comes out, in Shell in Netherlands, and ExxonMobil America, Texas, they already know how much crude oil has come out of our ground. We don't know Nigeria. We have to take a phone to call. So what kind of comedy is that?
There are a lot there are a lot of crude from Nigeria in foreign destinations that, and I've had this conversation with the likes of Honorable Johnson Agboyima, who was a former member of the House of Reps, and trying to finger these destinations and those who are responsible in getting our crude into this destination without recourse to the national affairs. But the question is that we still are being we're getting not the quite a good value for money from some of the things that we're getting from this sector. If you were the president,
I can tell you,
if you were the president, what would you do?
Even this president will have no choice but to probe NNPC along the line. Believe you me, you will have no choice. Because
it's not the NNPCL is not a full government entity any longer.
Who says?
It's supposed to be a public entity.
Who says that? Federal Minister of Nigeria and the Oil and Gas, Minister of Oil and Gas incorporated those two entities. Who own them? It's you and me and Nigerians.
How would the probing look like? What would this suggest to be the system or the mechanics?
How did the president probe NNPC? I mean CBN. How was the MFL?
It should set up a special committee.
Of course, I understand there was one. What happened to that committee? There was one on NNPC. Why is it that only in the CBN we got the report?
And the one that I'm even talking about, yes, the report is there, here. And the fact remains that how will that kind of report be presented to NEC? And nobody heard about it. It's been
conspiracy.
And at the end of the day, it's been shut down.
It's conspiracy.
We beg that let NEC come out and tell Nigerians that this was the report. Make it public. Let Nigerians know what happened.
Yeah.
Are we hiding something? Are we trying to shield anybody?
Sure.
Let the transparency be on this oil and gas sector, because it's a major problem in this country.
Sure, not only that one, even the one you talk about, our crude oil in the facilities abroad. You know, during Buhari's administration, I'm aware 2 teams were sent to China. They came back and confirmed that we have crude oil there. Later, NNPC hired Afi Babalola to go on television, advertise on the papers that the whistleblower is a liar, that nothing like that happened. You know. So what are we saying? Who is fooling who in this country? So the issue is about accountability and transparency, and the fact that Mr. President will have no choice. Mark it, I'm telling you. You will have no choice but to probe NNPC so that his programs the lofty programs they have will be able to succeed. Because without you taking care of the oil and gas sector, I don't know where you're going to get funded without, putting too much on Nigerians.
It was first the issue of the shift in the timelines and in the delivery date of the refinery. Now we got one. It was 70% ready. Now we are not assured of when it will be fully ready. This refinery, from my understanding, if it gives us 1 million barrels per day, it's just going to be a drop in the ocean about our consumption demand in the country.
Yes.
But if you were President Tinubu, and I ask you again, apart from probing, what goes on in the NNPC? There is a private sector handling it. There is a contractor handling this project. What should we be doing?
Oh, if you take a look at the contract, if it's a standard contract, industry standard contract, there is cost or delays that the contractor will bear. You don't just give somebody a contract and he's there forever. No, there are costs because there are supposed to be timelines, isn't it? There are supposed to be milestones, deadlines, and what have you that you are supposed to meet. If a contractor fails to meet, he pays a penalty. That is what is the contract. What's happening to this contract? Is this a case of the people that is going to penalize them that are handling the contract, that are executing the contract themselves? That's why they don't want to penalize themselves? Or what is it that is happening?
A fund issue. Or what?
It's not a fund issue. We took money. We took $1.5 billion from people's borrowed
money.
Yeah, we borrowed money from the Exim Bank. And from China also we took money.
All right.
So what are we saying?
Engineer Eng.Sani, thank you so much as always.
Thank you
for benefiting from your insight. Well, the thing is that you slap someone, he doesn't talk. You slap him on the other cheek. The third time you will slap him, he might bite your finger or you bite your hand. Nigerians have been beaten and been slapped to a stupor. It does look like our people are dazed so much that they have been deceived and been lied to for so many years. And it's time for the Tinubu government to come on board and save Nigeria. Let the oil and gas sector be transparent. Let us know what is happening. We no longer can be taken for a ride in this country. This Nigeria belongs to all of us, and we need some transparency, isn't it? Thanks so much, everyone, for watching tonight. I'm sure I'll see you next time. God bless Nigeria.